today's project, to make these little peeps, what we are going to need is some yarn. I have a medium lavender color out here. It is acrylic and medium weight. A 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, some stuffing, not very much, but we will need a little bit, and then some safety eyes. So gather your supplies and we'll get this project started making our stuffed Easter peeps. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start out with our slip knot and put our hook onto our yarn. And we are going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we are going to make a single crochet in each of these next ones. So skip the one that is on your hook and go into that next one and single crochet. Single crochet all the way across. And my last one, so at the end of the row you should have had 6 single crochets. And then chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so for row 2, in the first stitch we are going to put 2 single crochet. So 1 and 2 right into that same stitch. And then into our next 4 stitches, we are going to put 1 single crochet in each of those. And then in our last stitch of this row, we're going to put 2 single crochet. So 1, go right back into that same stitch with 2, and then chain 1 and turn our work. For row 3, 4, and 5, we are going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch. So we should have a total of 8 for each row now. So single crochet into each stitch for rows 3, 4, and 5. And then don't forget to put a chain 1 after each row. And when you're done with the 5th row, meet me back here. Okay, so for our 6th row, we are going to decrease. So you stick your hook in and pull up some yarn, go into that next stitch right away, and pull up some yarn again, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. Okay? And then into the next 4, we are going to single crochet. And then in our last 2, we are going to decrease again. So you hook in, pull the yarn, go into the next one, which is our last, pull some yarn. You should have 3 on your hook, yarn over and go through all 3. And then chain 1 and turn your work. Row 7, we are just going to single crochet into each stitch across. Which should have gave you 6 total. And then once you're across, chain 1 again and turn your work. Row 8, we are going to single crochet decrease again. So for that first one, we are going to yarn over and pull through, and then go straight into that next space, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 on your hook, yarn over and come through all 3. And then single crochet into the next 2. And then the last 2 we are going to decrease again. So yarn over, pull through, go into that last stitch, yarn over, pull through that one. You should have 3, yarn over and come through all 3 of those. Chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, row 9 we are on. We are going to put 2 single crochet into our first stitch. So 1 and 2 right into that first one, and then the next 2 we are just going to single crochet, and then our last stitch we are going to put 2 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, row 10. We are going to put 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then into the next 4 stitches we are going to put just 1 single crochet. So 2, 3, and 4. And then into our last stitch, we are going to put 2 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, row 11, we are just going to single crochet all the way across. So at the end of row 11, we should have 8 single crochets. And when you're at the end, chain 1 and turn your work. For row 12, we are going to decrease. So into our first one, we are going to put our hook in, grab yarn, and then go straight into the next stitch. Pull our yarn through. We should have 3 on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. And then into the next 4, we are just going to single crochet. And then our last 2 stitches, we're going to decrease again. So into that second last one, you put in your hook, grab yarn, and then go straight into that last stitch. Grab some yarn. You should have 3 on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 to make a decrease. Chain 1 and turn your work. Row 13, we are going to decrease also. So same thing, hook into that first chain, pull through, go into that next chain, and pull through. You should have 3 on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 to decrease. Into the next 2, do a single crochet. And then in the last 2, we are going to decrease again. So into that second last chain, put your hook in, grab yarn, go into the last chain, hook in, grab yarn. You should have 3 on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 to make the decrease, and chain 1 and flip your work. Now we got to the point where we have our, let me pull out my yarn here and move, woo! Okay, so what we have here is the body already formed. the little neck, that's where it became really decreased, and then we just finished our head. So now we are going to work on an ear and then our second ear, okay? So hopefully yours looks like this. If not, go back and review where you went wrong. It does happen a lot. I know it happened a lot with me in the beginning, so don't worry if it did. And then meet me back here if your project looks correct, and we will start working on the ears. Okay guys, so we're going to start his first ear here. And what we're going to do for this part, in the first row, we are going to single crochet in the first 2. And then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. For row 15 and 16, we are going to single crochet in the first 2 and then chain 1. So do the same for the next row, single crochet in each of those. And chain 1 and turn. Row 17, we are going to put 2 single crochet into the first one. And then the last stitch, just put 1 single crochet, chain 1 and turn your work. Row 18, we are going to single crochet decrease. So put your hook in, pull up a loop, put your hook into the second stitch, pull up a loop, you got 3, yarn over and pull through all 3. And then into the last stitch, you're just going to single crochet 1. And then put 1 chain. In row 19, we are going to single crochet in each. So that's 1 and 2. Chain 1 and turn your work. Row 20, we are going to single crochet decrease. So insert your hook into the first one, pull up a loop, insert your hook into that second one, pull up a loop, you should have 3, yarn over and pull through all 3, chain 1, and then we are going to just tie off. So pull out enough yarn, grab your little scissors, cut off enough to weave in, and then pull that through. And we have the first ear. Okay? So now we are going to flip our bunny over, and we are going to work on this side of the ear. So this side is complete now, and we're going to build up the same exact thing that we just did on this side. Okay, so for the next ear, we are just going to make a slip knot onto our hook. And then we're just going to insert our hook into that first stitch on the right side of our bunny. Okay? Then all we're going to do is make a single crochet into the first 2 stitches. So that's 1. I just fold the other ear down like that so I can work a little easier. And then a single crochet into that second stitch, chain 1 and turn. And then in rows 15 and 16, we are going to do the same thing, just single crochet into those first 2 stitches, chain 1, same thing into that next row, single crochet in each, chain 1 and turn. And then for row 17 we are going to put 2 single crochet into this first stitch, and then on the last stitch we are just going to put 1 single crochet and chain 1 and turn your work. For row 18 we are going to single crochet decrease, so insert your hook, pull up the yarn into the next stitch, insert your hook, pull up the yarn, you should have 3, yarn over and pull through both, and then single crochet into that last stitch and chain 1 and turn your work. And then row 19 we're going to single crochet in each, so that should equal 2 stitches. And then chain 1, turn your work. Row 20 we are going to single crochet decrease, so hook in, pull up the yarn, go to the next stitch, hook in, and pull up your yarn. You should have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through, and then chain 1, leave enough length and cut your yarn off and pull that tail through. So there we have our little bunny with our tails all attached still. It's going to curl over, the ears especially are going to want to curl over just because they're long and narrow right now. So what you're going to do is tie in all these ends, and then you are going to pause your video or rewind it if you have to and start from scratch, because we are going to need 2 of these. So right now I have 2 of the purple ones ready to go. I just need to weave in my ends. So do all that and meet me back, and I'll show you how we stitch it together to make a little puffed peep, okay? Okay guys, so now that we got both of our bunnies done, we are going to take some safety eyes, and we're going to do 3. 2 for the eyes, and then 1 for the nose. If you wanted to use embroidery floss for this, also you could. If it's for like younger kids, or you don't have safety eyes, that works as well. And then I just kind of line them up where I see it looks good. So I think I'll do mine like that today. So obviously you're just going to do this to one side of your bunny, and the other side is going to be his back. So get that all set up and put your safety eyes on, and then meet me back here and we will assemble the 2 pieces together. Okay, so I have my safety eyes all secure in place, and his nose. And what we're going to do is we are going to stack our 2 bunnies on top of each other, like so. And then we're going to make a slip knot and attach that to our hook. And I always start from the bottom corner. It's just easier for me, I find. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our hook through the first stitch on the front and the first stitch on the back. And then we are going to single crochet, make single crochets along his side like this. And this is how we're closing him up. Now we're going to do this until we get to his neck area, and I will show you how to do that. It's going to be a little bit different. So keep going up his side like this until you get to the neck area of him. This can be a little hard to do, so just have patience with yourself. Okay, so I just did my last single crochet before I hit his neck here. So for the neck, instead of doing a single crochet, we are just going to make a slip stitch just to keep that nice and like indented in. And then once we get to his head, we're just going to go back to the single crochets. If I'm going too fast, you can slow down the video also, or pause it in the sections here. Okay, so I'm at my last one of my head, and then I will show you what we'll do next with the ear part here. The ears can be tricky, so again, have patience with yourself. Okay. So at the bottom of the ear here, what we're going to do is we are going to do a slip stitch also, just like we did by the neck, just to keep that definition of the indent like that if we can. And then once you get to the actual ear here, going up the edge of his ear, you're going to do a single crochet, just like we did along the body, okay? To the top of the ear. Okay, at the top of the ear, all we're going to do is chain one. And then we're going to start going back down the inside of his ear. So you're just going to go ahead and follow through down the other edge of this ear with those single crochets. And in the center here, it does start getting a little tight because it's getting harder to see. And with this other set of ears, it's kind of snug in here, okay? So now we are just reaching the bottom of this inner ear. And I kind of try separating them like this. And right down in the center, in between his ears, you're just going to make a slip stitch. Now we're going to go back up the next inner ear the same way. And we're just going to repeat this. So go up his ear, making single crochet at the top of his ear, do a chain 1, come back down making single crochets. Here, where the ears indent, you're going to do a slip stitch, and then single crochet, slip stitch, single crochet, and when we're at the bottom of this left side of him, pause it and meet me back here, okay? Okay, so I reached my bottom corner here, and we're just going to open him up a little bit, so the opening should be at the bottom here. And I've actually seen people use these as just finger puppets for little kids now at this point, but our intentions for the video were to make a little stuffed peep here, so that's what we're going to do. So you're going to grab a little bundle of stuffing. You do not need a lot for this project just because we're not making it like a regular stuffed animal type. We're just trying to make him a little bit 3D, okay? You just got to kind of go around those eyes since we have them in a little bit now already. And just get him as stuffed as you want him. We don't want him too stuffed where we're going to see the stuffing through the stitches, okay? So keep that in mind. So that's about where I go with mine. See, it's just a little bit thick there, but not much, okay? It just gives it a little something. And then we are just going to finish closing it up. So you just follow along on this bottom edge, closing it up with those same single crochets that we were doing, okay? And then at the end here, I just slip stitch it into that very first one that we started with. Chain 1. Whoops, I had my extra stuffing there. And then just cut off enough that you're going to be able to weave that in and pull it through. And now you just weave in these two edges. And there we go, we have our cute little Easter peep here. You can make these in any colors. I've made them in pink, yellow, like a teal color. They all turn out fabulous. Like I said, with the eyes and the nose, if you wanted to switch that to embroidery with either thread, or you could even use like a pink yarn, that sort of thing, okay? But yeah, they turn out really cute. They're not as intimidating as they seem. I know I was very intimidated by the first time I did it. So go ahead and give it a try, okay? I hope you liked the video. If you did, like it please, and subscribe. Thank you.